So, Saagar, what's on your radar?
Well, Ryan, the strain of the campaign trail, it's really starting to get to former Vice President Joe Biden. He appeared to nearly lose it yesterday when he was confronted by a Tom Steyer supporter of all people. Let's take a look at the full interaction.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm going to vote you in the general if you treat me right.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not.
Well, can I have a
Look,
picture?
you're asking a picture of me. You're coming up and telling me you don't support me.
No.
My plan. Yeah, you did. You said you
I said I would support you in the general.
In the general. I'm looking for a primary.
We're happy to
and
get a number. We can follow up.
That's what I'm looking for, okay?
Just because we're finding it.
You believe that Bernie can do something by 2030?
I'm actually supporting Tom Steyer.
Tom Steyer? Well, that's good. He's the guy that did
Thanks
more
so much,
coal
sir. We have
mines.
a long line right here.
More coal than the entire country did.
The exchange highlights a few fundamental things about Biden. First and foremost, the man is just unbelievably entitled. The voter in the video said explicitly he would back Biden if he was the eventual Democratic nominee, but he issued him a challenge. Part and parcel of running for president is dealing with annoying people who try to pigeonhole you even if they're trying to take a photo. Just smile, take the photo, say you hope or you know he'll change his mind in the coming days and you have the best plan, then move on. Biden simply is not capable of that. By my count, this is the third time in recent memory that he has told somebody who challenges him to simply go and vote for somebody else. Or, of course, in that one famous incident, he even called somebody a damn liar and even fat. Let's relive these two incidents for good measure.
We have this classification of families.
You should vote for Trump. You should vote for Trump. You did not hear that at all. What you heard, look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does.
Beyond entitlement, what really shocks me about this is Biden doesn't actually believe in persuading people who don't support him to do so. This underscores that Biden's candidacy has nothing to do with the policy he's so sure that he's correct on. Instead, it's that he alone is the one who can beat Donald Trump. But the funny thing is, of course, is that in the last few weeks in particular, we have seen a total rejection of this idea by much of the Democratic electorate. Bernie Sanders is, of course, surging in the early states. And in a major political repudiation of Biden, we've seen a huge upswing of Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer nationally. Sure, there are billionaires that are buying their place in the race, but the fact is if Biden had not left such a massive opening for them, then it wouldn't be able to be filled. Ezra Klein, who I generally disagree with, actually had a decent take, noting that the question isn't why Democratic elites haven't united against Bernie, but instead why they simply cannot hold their nose and coalesce around Joe. Think about it from their perspective. Despite the fact that Bernie, generally an existential threat to the way that the entire establishment does business, they still cannot get themselves to back the person who stands the only chance of beating him. So moments like the one that you witnessed today, they're not going to help. And perhaps they're even a preview of what is going to end up being a truly spectacular implosion. Think about it. Bernie seems very well poised to win Iowa and New Hampshire. If that scenario occurs, he could go on to take Nevada. Now, Biden would have to somehow convince people that despite the fact that he lost 3 contests in a row, that he can still win. Do you really think he has what it takes in order to get through that? I mean, Ryan, we just played 3 of these separate incidents. You saw that with the Tom Steyer supporter. It's like the sheer entitlement, and this stretches way beyond his campaign. What were we just talking about before about Social Security? He can't even admit that he was wrong or that he said what he actually said. He's done the same thing on Iraq. He does this on his immigration record. He does this on everything. Every time he's tested by a voter, he collapses.
His campaign strategy, and they were basically public about it a year ago, is that they were going to try to hide him from voters. And that interaction that you saw,
That's why.
Why.
Yeah.
The problem that his campaign has is that it's very hard to hide in modern campaigning.
Yeah, right.
Because there's cell phones, there are reporters following you everywhere who are not just taking video footage for the 6 p.m. news that night. They're going to put that right up on Twitter, and it's going to circulate and get tens of millions of views. And so he can't hide. And because he can't hide, people are getting a real look at him. What's most revealing to me is that all of the editorial boards around the country are predisposed to endorse a Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden comes in, ready to get that endorsement, sits down with these editors for an hour, walks out of that room, and those editors go and find somebody else.
Warren,
Amy
Klobuchar,
maybe both of them.
Yeah, right.
And so what happened in that hour? I mean, clearly there's something about Biden's current ability to present his ideas that just doesn't hold up under the smallest amount of pressure.
And I encourage everybody to go actually read the 90-minute transcript of his interview with the New York Times.
Disaster.
It's literally incomprehensible. I mean, it
makes Trump looks like Shakespeare.
But the funny thing is with Trump is actually Trump is quite disjointed whenever he speaks. But the core
what he's trying
message
to say.
is right there. It's like we're getting screwed on trade. There's too many people coming into the car. It's like very basic.
Right.
With Biden, I'm like, I don't even know what you're trying to say, man. Like, are you saying like we should go back? The one thing is his ads are fantastic, and I actually do think that's the one thing that is buoying him, because the ad is so quintessentially Biden. It just says, vote Biden, beat Trump. Now look, I think that's wrong, but great ad, right?
Yes, and consultants, for a lot of good reasons, get a bad knock from the left. And so as a result, both Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have not employed any kind of campaign consultants. Bernie had Tad Devine as his firm. His firm's now working for Yang, actually.
Right.
In 2016, doesn't have them this time. They're making them all in-house. Think about it. There haven't been very many, or if any, kind of memorable ads come from either of those campaigns. And so, no, there is an art to producing this type of propaganda. And so Joe Biden and Michael Bloomberg have been able to hire these artists. They're complete mercenaries. They're in it for profit, but that doesn't mean they're not good at
That's a good
what
point.
they're doing.
No. I mean, as I was telling you earlier, we played a Bloomberg ad yesterday. Fantastic ad. He was like, drug prices Trump said drug prices will go down. They're not. I'm a competent mayor. I know how to do it. And I was like, I know a lot of seniors. They only vote on drug pricing.
Right.
That's it, right?
Right, and they know that because they've done as many focus groups as money can buy, and then polls. So everything is going to be meticulous coming out of the campaign. The problem, of course, is that it's Mike Bloomberg, and he resonates with zero people.
Exactly. I mean, I think generally on this theme of Biden imploding, what do you expect to see? I mean, if he loses 3 contests in a row, that is, if you talk to some people on, under their breath, most of them will say that's probably what's going to. Look, he still could win Iowa. I want to be clear. We're going to be talking about that possible deal he's got with Amy Klobuchar later. Very still much up in the air. But, I mean, I would say the momentum's not really on his side. How do you think he's going to react? Are we going to see a lot more of that?
I think so. And that clip where Ed O'Keefe, the CBS News reporter, was pressing him on Social Security, and Biden turns around, eyes bulging, and lunges at him. Why?
He even touched him. He put his hands on him.
And you could almost see him say, okay, I'm losing it. And then he projects it onto Ed and says, calm down, man, when he's really talking to himself.
The whole thing is weird.
This was supposed to be his coronation. Hillary Clinton was supposed to have a coronation in 2008. It didn't happen. She melted down toward the end of that race. Started talking about we need good Americans, white Americans. Why are you still in the race? Oh, I'm in the race because remember RFK got assassinated. So hey, anything can happen. Like losing it.
Yeah.
And an extremely talented, intelligent person just losing it. Joe Biden. We could be in for.
Joe Biden's no Hillary, and that's
Joe Biden is no Hillary, and I think people need to understand that. And that's why the party's not rallying around him.
That's very true. All right, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have more Rising with Ryan right after this.